And so once you realize that, like, as a founder, you genuinely do not need to be doing it all, it just opens so many doors for you, because no founder started a business to become a marketer. You started a business to create a product that can help people.
Again, all the gurus are like, oh, there's riches in the niches, and you got to like focus on that one industry. But for me, I built Brand Viva just off of my personal network and relationships.
So AI video content I find fascinating, because what I think a lot of people are attracted to is the ease of AI video content and even AI copywriting. But what they don't realize is when you lean into AI created content and you like literally don't edit it, you don't make it your own at all, you sound like everyone else. No one's business is unique. No one's service is different than anyone else. What makes you different is you.
Are you ready to feel like it's Friday every day? I'm Mark Labriola II, and this is the Friday Habit. We interview experts to learn how to bring excitement, possibility, and sweet, sweet relief into every single day, no matter what day it is. If you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, or agency leader, get ready to grow your business, lead with purpose, and build a life you love. Welcome to the Friday Habit.
That's right. Welcome back to another Friday Habit. It's a good day to have a good day, if you ask me, no matter where you are listening. And today, we've got somebody from the trenches with us. We have a fellow agency owner on to share her experience. And it's Emma Tessler. I don't know if you heard of her, but she's a big deal. She's the founder and CEO of NinentyFiveMedia, a digital marketing agency that helps brands stop scrolling and start scaling, because don't we all want to scale? And really, her story is great. It began as a side hustle in New York City, the city where dreams go to die, but she overcame and has grown into a thriving remote team known for delivering high-impact social media strategy, brand storytelling, and video content that actually drives sales. Emma's agency specializes in helping entrepreneurs and companies build authority and connect in the digital space, especially through video, and she shares her insights weekly on her own show, the Stop Scrolling, Start Scaling podcast. Emma, welcome to the Friday Habit.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yes. When I saw your request come through our email box, I was like, oh, this sounds like somebody who I'd love to chat with about their journey, because, we have a lot of entrepreneurs and freelancers and creatives listen to this podcast. And I myself took a side hustle to a full-time gig with employees and a studio and all this other kind of stuff. And sometimes it's just great to hear from other people who have done it, to give you inspiration and motivation to maybe take that leap and go out on your own and overcome the hardships. Because as we know, it's really about showing up each and every day, overcoming your challenges, and success is usually at the end of that hard push. So
Couldn't agree more. It's not an easy day every day by any means.
that's right. But it can be a great one.
Yes, exactly.
So are you from New York?
I am from New York,
Okay.
yes. But
Old
I currently
school.
live in Dallas, Texas. I've been here for
look at
4 years
you.
now. Yes.
Okay. So did marriage bring you to the West, or what was it?
No,
Opportunity, cost of living?
It was really a kind of spur of the moment decision. My sister was moving down here, and I was just kind of ready for something new post COVID. And so I took a trip down here, found an apartment, and I moved down a couple of weeks later. And I was like, you know what? I could live anywhere for a year. So let me just try it out, see what happens. And I just bought a house. So here we are. We'll be here
Which
for a while.
is easier to do in Texas than it is to do in New York.
This is very true. Yes.
So that's cool. What part of New York did you grow up in?
Just north of the city in Westchester County.
Okay, nice. That's awesome. And then did you spend any time in the city, grinding the streets?
I lived in Manhattan for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
I moved there when I was 18 for college, and I was there until I moved down to Texas when I was 26. So
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
had good years there.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That's what they say, right?
That's what they say.
I've had a lot of friends who go to New York, and it just overwhelms them, and then they quit and leave. It crushes their soul. So I figure, like, man, if you can make it there, then you can make it anywhere. So tell me a little bit about your journey as far as kind of you said you went to school. Did you go to school for like media production or graphic design or marketing or something like that?
No, none of the above. I actually went to the Fashion Institute of Technology for a degree in interior design.
Okay.
So I took a course in high school. I fell in love with interior design, and I thought that was sort of like the path that I was going to be on. I felt like I finally had direction. I was like, cool, I'm one of those people, I know what I want to do. I can go to college with a path and get the degree, get the job, and follow that ladder that everyone talks about and, your boomer parents tell you about. And then I was in it, and in college ended up having an internship with one of my professors who was an interior designer. And she wanted to expand her business in 2015, turned to me as the youngest person on her team. And she was like, hey, I heard people are using Instagram. Can you kind of like figure that out for me? I was like, of course I can. Like, that's awesome. I'm posting pictures of the sunset on Instagram. Like, I could figure this out. And as I started digging into it, I just realized there's so much potential for brands on Instagram. I kind of like couldn't believe other people weren't using it that way. And it just really excited me because I realized, there's this whole space that's about to open up. I could see kind of the future of where marketing was going. I knew nothing about it, but I knew I'm a really great learner. And the world of interior design is actually quite antiquated in some ways. And so there was this career path I was following that didn't have a lot of newness in it. And then there's this world of social media marketing that was constantly changing and brand new. So I just sort of kept learning both at the same time, and marketing just ended up leading the way more so than design. And that's the path I ended up following.
That's so awesome. So you kind of started as a side hustle. Did you graduate college and then try to go get a job and somewhere, or started working for your professor or something like that?
I interned my entire college career. That was just what you did at the school that I was at. And my internship during senior year ended up giving me a job offer before I graduated.
Oh, nice.
So I landed a dream job in design at a company that I already knew I loved. And I thought, well, this is the universe kind of sending me on my way. Like, this is the path I'm supposed to follow. Yeah. And so I did. And I am so grateful for that experience because it provided me with so much that has still benefited me to this day. But while I was there and while I was even in college, I was building 95Media as my side hustle. It ended up growing a lot while I was working full time. So it was sort of my 5 to 9 and weekend job after I worked full time. And so I was working crazy hours, but I loved it so much. I wouldn't have traded it for anything. And those hours
when you first started, did you continue to intern, or did you continue to do stuff for your professor then? Like, what was your first gigs, and like, how are you getting business like that it was keeping you busy from 5 to 9 and weekends?
So it was a mix of using Instagram to get clients. I was posting constantly. I would post video content back then when no one was doing video. I would record stories at 5 a.m. when I woke up before I went to work. I would do more when I got home. I would do it all weekend. And I really kind of showed the messy middle of building this brand on social, which is so critical to anyone's growth. But I also was just a shame-free cold pitcher in real life. And I just had no shame about it. Honestly, at the time, I didn't even know that people didn't like sales. I was just I see an opportunity. I know I can help this person. Why would I not tell them? So there would be events that I would go to. There was this one event in particular for the design firm I was at where we did this team bonding activity with one of the vendors we worked with. And it was a cocktail making class. And at this cocktail making class, everyone's posting stories. We're all having a great time. And one of the founders was leading the class. But the problem was their social media was so awful. No one wanted to tag them because they were this is really embarrassing. This class is really great. And I'm having a great time, but I don't want people to this is a terrible social presence. So I went up to him after the class and I was like, look, I had a great time. You're amazing, but I could really help you with your social presence. And had a meeting with him and his partner at a WeWork at the time and pitched them this little PDF I had printed out. And they were one of our very first clients. But it was that cold pitching that I still do to this day, because I just don't know why you wouldn't. Like, you have something that could help somebody and they don't know. And so it's my job to let you know I can help you. If you don't want it, that's cool. But like, the worst you can say is no.
So did you have to learn how to become like a graphic designer? And like when you first started, or were you kind of just doing all this stuff yourself and it was just kind of scrappy and just using the tools that Instagram provided, or getting on Canva and just...
I mean, so my being in interior design school, being in an art school, like you learn a lot of graphics. I was already using Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, like all of the fancy Adobe
tools,
suites. Yeah. But so I think I had started using like InDesign for some graphics, because that was pre like mainstream Canva. And then of course, like once Canva became easier to use, then we did that. But I would go to clients. I think all of our clients in the beginning were based in New York City. And so I would go to them, I would shoot content on the weekends, work with them to like get the materials I needed. And social media was a lot simpler back then. And so you didn't need as much or as complex material, but I was certainly doing it all myself. And I still look back on that and I love that I was able to do it all myself, because now I truly have such a deep understanding of what our team does and exactly how the processes need to be in order to serve our clients really well.
Yeah. Yeah. I always feel like when you are in the trenches, as they say, right, to start and you learn all the ins and outs of how to do things, it makes it a lot easier for you, one, to sell the product, right? And then also to train and teach other people how to do the thing that, you had to like figure out and do,
Absolutely. Well, and to build out processes to scale as well. I built out every process for very long time. We now have an amazing project manager who does a lot of our ops, but I couldn't have built out those processes if I didn't, hadn't gone through them myself. So it was very valuable to do that. And honestly, it's a piece that I miss a little bit sometimes. I think that's not really talked about enough, where it's like, that's like the fun part of the job.
Right.
Running the business is the hard part.
Yeah, exactly. What, 95Media, what is that?
Yeah. So 95Media was not our original brand name, but when we were going through a rebrand, it was really to kind of look ahead and look at where we were going. And I knew I wanted this brand to be something much bigger than just myself. I say all the time, when you look at our social, I don't want it to be like the Emma show. Like, this is not about me. It really is about our brand and our team and the impact that we're able to make. And with that being said, I'm not good at naming things. So I can market anything when it comes to names. It's just not a huge talent. So 95Media came from, I knew I wanted media in the name, and I was born in 1995. So it's like a little piece of me without it being, too connected to myself.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then how long were you kind of doing it as kind of a side hustle until it got to a place where you're like, I think I could replace my income at my day job?
So I side hustled for 5 years, 3, I think, of which were while I was working full time. And while I was working full time, I truly loved what I did. Like I said, it was a dream job that I got, and I was so grateful for it. But I just found my passion in marketing to be so much greater at the end of the day. And so every year at my corporate job, when your like work anniversaries come around, I was just like, okay, is this going to be the year? I like put in my notice. I want to go in. I knew I wanted to really have the time to focus on building 95Media, because I knew we could go so much farther if I had that bandwidth to give it. But what ultimately led me to leave design was the pandemic. In 2020, the world of interior design changed a lot, and the type of interior design that my company was doing was corporate office spaces in Manhattan.
Yeah, that tanked.
So it was not a great time, and it was a challenging time at the company. And so I had more time to focus on building 95. Simultaneously, every brand, while budgets completely obliterated in March of 2020, of course, when nothing was happening. Everyone came back with like an absolute vengeance by the summer because they finally woke up and realized what I've been telling them for years before that. Like, hey, marketing is on social and you can't depend on people coming in or billboard ad or like no one's looking at those things. And they finally realized that when no one was literally looking at those things in COVID. And so we just exploded in 2020. And at that time, I ended up, by the end of the summer, 95Media was making, I think it was 3 times my monthly salary at my corporate job. And so I kind of made this like financial goal, like if we can sustain X revenue for each month, then I feel comfortable being able to pay myself, cover the team, have some, leftover and leave my job ultimately. And so I ended up leaving my corporate job in December of 2020, when I was like, okay, well, we hit the 3 months, like we can try doing this. But it was really scary because up until that point, I had not paid myself from the business. I was truly like reinvesting everything back in just so that we could scale and we could market and we can hire a team. Yeah. So it was a huge leap of faith, but truly the best decision I ever made.
When you started scaling, are all your team members 1099s or are they W-2? How do you operate that?
Yeah, so we have a mix of full-time employees and contractors. Yeah. I believe right now we have 5 full-time employees and another 5-ish of contractors.
Nice. That's awesome. And so when you first started out, what was that like? Okay, there's these roles. Like, what were the roles that you kind of started to try to offload from yourself and bringing in people? And then did you start off by hiring somebody you knew right away that like into a W-2 position, or did they start off as like a 1099 and then moving into a W-2 position?
We had contractors for a very long time. So contractor roles was really all I was looking for in the beginning. And the very first thing I had to get off my plate because I didn't have an option was community engagement. In our social media management packages, a really important part of our work outside of content, of course, is community. A lot of brands don't realize how important it is, but that outreach and engagement with your community is ultimately what drives a lot of conversions for our clients. But it's very hands-on and time intensive. So it wasn't something that I was able to continue doing once I got my full-time job. It needed to happen during the work hours, needed to happen around posting time, and it was a certain amount of time that was dedicated and included for all of our clients. So I think I posted on like Instagram to hire for our first role. And I found someone who was available and could do a few hours each day. And she was our first, what is now the role in our team called a community coordinator. Back then it was just, hey, you're helping us with engagement. But that was the very first hire I made. And it was a real game changer because I realized, okay, like I don't have to do it all, but there are still things that I really want to have my hands in. So it took a long time to get everything fully off my plate in terms of client execution. But in the very beginning, it was just out of bare necessity of like, okay, I physically cannot do this work during the workday.
Yeah. So what was some of the things that you added? So you started off with social media, and I guess that it's one of those things where I feel like social media management, there's all sorts of things that go along with it as far as the content creation, right? You have images, you have videos, like there's a lot that kind of go into that. Did you kind of brand yourself in the very beginning as a like social media management company, and then you kind of have packages or whatnot that bring people into doing other things with you?
Yeah, so we are a digital marketing agency because we do more than just social, but organic social media management has always been at the core of our service offerings. That is really what we're known for, is organic content and growth to help our clients scale their online presence. In our social media management packages, we approach the service as a really white glove, full scale delivery so that our clients can take a full step back from their marketing and look at us as their outsourced marketing department. Over the years, our deliverables have changed and the way that we serve our clients have changed, but the core mission of the company, which is to help our clients scale their brands using their online presence, has been really the crux of what we do. we've added, additional services like our quarterly content shoots where we fly to our clients and shoot 3 months of video content in 3 hours, where we've seen need and filled them with a service. And so in that way, we've continued to up level our delivery. And we do email marketing, we do podcast production, but at the core of what we do, it's social media, because that's what, we're really great at and what we see the most impact with.
Yeah. Well, and that's the engine that you got to keep feeding.
Yes.
So then what was it? At what point did you have to add new talent to the team, or you had to learn new things in order to start? Because obviously social media management is completely different than digital advertising, right? That's a whole nother skill set and knowledge base that you kind of have to take on or learn or hire for, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, our growth has always come out of necessity, to be honest with you. The more clients that we've signed, we're like, okay, well, everyone's maxed out. It's time to add another person to the team. What skill sets can they bring? Where else can they enhance our delivery? And so we've been able to pull from the talent that the team brings in. And I always look at bringing in new hires and developing our team as a skill versus will situation. Anyone could come in, I could teach you any skill, but if you don't really have the will to be here and you don't want to do this work, you don't want to work hard, we're like a startup agency life. This is not, a very simple, easy, everyday job. Every day is the same. That's not it by any means. So if you don't have the will to be here, I can't solve for that. But if you want to be here, if you want to grow, if you want to be a part of something really exciting, then I can teach you what needs to be done because I've done it myself.
Yeah.
But as we've grown, we've been really lucky to have some really incredible talent on our team so that we can continue to up level. And as they've served our clients, I've had more space to see the gaps and create new services and develop our processes in a way where we are able to serve our clients better, which that's my role at this point in the company.
Yeah, that's awesome. So did you start building your team remote from day one, or did you ever have an office space?
No, and I really never wanted one. It was always sort of a mission to be able to be remote. And I was told a lot in the early days that was kind of crazy, especially pre-COVID when everyone thought that was impossible. And look at everyone now.
Yeah.
But I also really see the value in having those in-person touch points as well. So we work fully remote, but we have one team retreat every year. So we fly everyone out every January. We get a big Airbnb. We do a long weekend activities, bunch of fun stuff together. And then throughout the year, if we're in this local area of one of our team members, we'll get to see each other. If we have conferences that people want to go to, we get together. There's opportunities for those in-person touch points without needing to be, in one office space all the time.
Yeah.
I look at that as kind of limiting, to be honest with you, because then you're limited to talent in that one area.
Right.
But with, being remote, we get to hire talent no matter where they are in the US to be able to serve our clients at a whole different level.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you think were some intentional choices you made to create culture kind of while scaling? Were you thinking about that?
Yeah. It's really challenging, to be honest, because when you're remote, you don't have the same opportunities for bonding and collaboration and relationship building in nearly the same way as you do in an office setting. We've had to be really intentional about building culture. One of the things that we do with our team that was actually pitched by one of our internal team members, which I love, is a monthly bonding meeting where we all get together for an hour once a month and we do something collaborative. So we might do a craft, or we might do a bingo game together. We might share. Last month we did a favorite things, bring one of the an item in your home that you can't live without, and let's chat about it and share what we can all benefit from. So it's a really great way to get to know one another outside of your work setting. But we do a lot to reinvest back into the team and encourage those relationships, because I really believe that the reason you stay at a company is for the people. It's not necessarily for the company.
Right. Yeah. No, that's so true. And then what is how do you cast that vision for people, especially working remote? What are some things that you try to focus on to keep people motivated or keep them, inspired to continue to work, with you and for you?
I think it comes back to the results that our clients get to see, and that is like really rewarding to anybody who's doing the work. So, being recognized for the great work that you do, having clients be happy and watch their own businesses literally grow before your eyes, but also be a part of something greater and see that grow. I think it's one of the biggest benefits of working in a small company is that you really feel not only your impact, but also the different stages of growth in a very different way than if you were to work at a larger corporate company.
Yeah.
Everyone really gets to make an impact at a small company, and we move so fast. No day is the same. So you're constantly growing in your own skill set. You're watching the company grow and seeing where we're like projecting. And so in that way, you feel kind of more entwined in the growth and the success of the brand as well.
Yeah, totally. What advice do you have for small business owners that are hesitant to start to delegate or grow their team?
Once you start, it's hard to stop. And it's actually something that we like work a lot with our own clients on is sometimes we are the very first hire that a brand makes. We work with a lot of small companies and we may be the first marketing hire that they've ever had. And so it's a lot of like, okay, let me hold your hand when I tell you this, but like, you don't need to be doing this. It's okay to let go. And then you give it a month and the client's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I used to spend 10 hours a week doing this stuff. I'm so happy that y'all are doing it for me. And so once you realize that like as a founder, you genuinely do not need to be doing it all, it just opens so many doors for you because no founder started a business to become a marketer.
Right.
You started a business to create a product that can help people. And then you realized along the way, oh shoot, the year is 2025 and I have to be a marketer too. What are we doing here? So I think that one of the biggest lessons is if you can take that step back and you can find a team that you trust that has expertise in what you're looking to get off your plate, it really can just be such a game changer for what you can accomplish as a brand when you get that time back on your plate.
Yeah, totally. What do you think, kind of that balancing act of getting a client, right, to where maybe they're paying a certain amount a month, whatever that might be, and then making that decision to outsource, so you're like hiring a 1099 maybe to help you with that. What does that look like for you as far as over the years when you made the decision to like bring that role in full time or just keep it as like a contracted role?
So there have been a lot of like Department of Labor changes over the years.
Yeah.
So what you could hire a contractor for when I first started has changed. So I'll start there. I'm certainly not an expert. I would say everyone should do their own research on that. But for us, we, outside of just, common law and like expectations, we've seen a really big opportunity moving forward where contractors are amazing and they can go so far. But if you really want someone to stay and grow with you, most people are looking for a full-time position and they want the benefits and they want to know where they're going and what their trajectory is and to build a like long-standing relationship with a company. And so as we look ahead at what is coming, what is the future of the brand, we wanted to make sure that we had a path of growth for everyone and we could provide them with that stability of a full-time job. As we've grown, we also needed more hours from everyone. And so it all kind of just like meshed into place perfectly for where we've come from and where we're going. I can't say it was always like a hard plan that we had in terms of transition, but it's sort of just happened how it's happened where we had the hours, we had team members who were fantastic and we wanted to give them more opportunity and it just all fell into place.
Yeah. When you say we, do you have like an executive team or do you have like a partner or somebody who you've like leveled up to a manager level type role to help you make some of these decisions, or are a lot of the things still kind of on your shoulders as the founder and CEO of the company?
So I don't have like a direct business partner by any means, but our leadership roles have changed a lot over the years, as any small business does. And so right now in our current structure, I have a really amazing creative project manager who is really the crux of our leadership team outside of myself. And so she's really great at overseeing our team and our deliverables, as well as, of course, project management to make sure that we're hitting all of the marks. So she manages a lot that used to be on my plate, which has freed up my time to focus on other avenues of business growth, client retention, and just bringing in new business as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, I'd love if we could talk a little strategy, little video content.
Yeah.
You know, since you're kind of in the world and out there, what do you see right now as far as video content that's actually converting? I feel like AI is really shaken up the industry as far as the way that people can create content so quickly and, you know, by themselves. But, you know, how do you see converting content as platforms like Instagram and TikTok? Like, what do you see working really well? Is it AI content or is it human-driven content?
So AI video content I find fascinating because what I think a lot of people are attracted to is the ease of AI video content and even AI copywriting. But what they don't realize is when you lean into AI created content and you like literally don't edit it, you don't make it your own at all, you sound like everyone else. No one's business is unique. No one's service is different than anyone else. What makes you different is you. So if you aren't showing that, especially in video content, you're completely missing the plot. Like you are blending in with everyone else. You have nothing that stands out. And so in this world where people are starting to lean more into AI, what I would encourage anyone to do is lean away from it. Not that you shouldn't use AI at all, because I think it can be really helpful with regards to strategy and ideation. But when it comes to execution, I truly believe and see from chronically online hours that it is the human aspect of who we each are that is really making content stand out and ultimately what's going to continue to convert.
But Emma, I feel so awkward on camera.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Listen, every single client says that to me. Without fail, every client's like, no, I hate it. I don't want to be on camera. And I'm like, cool, I'll be on your doorstep in 3 months and we'll shoot video content together and you're going to love it. Like it is what it is because you're not that bad. And what's so funny is that the people who think they're the worst just need a little coaching. And that's what we do with our clients. And that's truly how we came up with the quarterly content shoots service that we offer, because we would ask our clients for video content and they'd be like, no, I can't do it. I'm so busy. I hate being in front of the camera. And then their content would not perform the way they wanted to. They'd come to us and be like, what the heck is going on? And we're like, hey, we literally asked you for X, Y, and Z and you didn't give it to us. We only have what we have.
Right.
So to solve for that, we're like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to make you do this with us. We will literally come to you with our phones and our lighting and our mics, and you're going to sit down and you're going to record content with us. And without fail, that's always the top performing content for their brands because people buy from people.
Right.
So if you are a founder and you're hesitant to get in front of the camera, I would really just recommend that you work with someone who can help you. Like you're not that bad. Everyone's doable. Whether you need like a teleprompter or you need someone to feed you the lines or you need 5 takes to get it right, work with a team who will help you get it right because it's not impossible. I've worked with some really awkward people and we can make you not look awkward in front of the camera if you just try a few different things. And the more you do it, the easier it is.
Yeah, I love that. So what do you think actually building authority online? Like, I guess, what does it actually mean to build authority online and how does that translate into sales, do you think?
I mean, building authority looks different for every space, but typically what it comes down to is showing that you know what you do and how you can help people. Everyone's really skeptical, right? Like we've all seen scams, bots, AI content. You don't know what to believe anymore. And so you don't want to buy from the wrong person. And with that, you end up doing research. You end up most people are like binging content from new brands that they find before they ever reach out, before they ever engage or express interest or book a call or buy a product, because you want to make sure that you're getting what you think you're getting. What that really means is you're consuming content that is allowing you to trust that brand. And on the brand side, trust-based content is authority building. So you're telling people you know what you're talking about. Typically that comes through in educational content. So you have a podcast is a great way to show educational content, short form video content where you're speaking on reels and teaching on a topic. Your stories are a great way to do so. And then just showing other parts of your brand too. You know, who's on your team? What do the back end processes look like? If a client's giving you an objection on a call, handle that in your content, because if one person's having it, other people are thinking the same thing. Authority building is really just showing that you know what you're doing and people can trust you, because that trust is what leads to conversion on social.
Yeah. What would you say, I guess, how do you manage working? I always talk about, working on your business instead of in your business. How do you manage that? Like, how do you actually be the CEO and not just an operator of your agency?
I think you hire for the operator, right?
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what our creative project manager does for us at this point, because there was a time where 90% of my day was in operations and it was in the business. And so our growth got stunted because I didn't have time to look at the business and work on the business from an outside perspective. But as the founder, as the CEO, that is your sole job. Like your sole job is to continue building the brand, get it in front of more people, convert, make sales, think about new ways to serve your audience. That's your job. And once I had the time to focus on that, so much has changed for us. So it is incredibly important to carve out that time to work on the business. Now I try and make like 75% of my time working on the business and 25% in the business, because that part isn't fully off my plate just yet. But the goal is that it is over, the next period of the next season of business.
What are your thoughts about niching? You always hear like there's riches in the niches. As an agency, have you gone down that path of niching? And I come across a lot of agencies, right? They just focus on dentistry, or just focus on law offices, or just focus on medical. How have you kind of approached that, and like, what are your thoughts around it?
I've seen it be really successful for a lot of agencies. I tried doing it in the beginning. When I was still side hustling, I was like, well, I know interior design. We'll just serve interior designers. And we did for quite a bit. Interior design brands, products, build materials. It was all in the interior design architecture space. For me, I found it to be very limiting, because I started getting approached by other types of businesses, and I didn't have case studies on other businesses. And so when they would look at us, they'd be like, oh, well, do you even know how to do what we do? Like, it looks like you only work with designers. And I was like, no, the things that we do with the designers would work great for you too. Here's how we would tweak it. Here's the strategy. And so for us, I realized I wanted to go wider than a niche would allow us to. So today we don't niche down. I look at it as not niching has actually benefited our clients in ways that niched agencies aren't able to, because we're able to see such a bigger picture than if we were just in one industry and could only see what other people in dentistry, for example, were doing. But for us, we're able to see, okay, like textile designers are doing this, our landscape designer client is doing this wine brand is doing that. Here's how we can take these trends and these different pieces of content that are exploding and apply them in different ways for different brands. It helps our clients build that momentum a lot faster, because we're able to kind of have our hands in all of these pots and bring the ideas together across our team. So I've seen it be really successful. It wasn't for us, but we found a lot of success by not niching.
Yeah, no, I think that's wise. And I've kind of been in the same boat as far as, again, all the gurus are like, oh, there's riches in the niches and you got to like focus on that one industry. But for me, I built Brand Viva just off of my personal network and relationships. And so then I had personal networks and relationships in all sorts of industries, and then all those referrals and people over time have spread out. And so I've always just been like, hey, we do a particular thing, but we can provide that in any area and do it really well.
Yes.
And we've kind of grown, that way. And so I've kind of hesitated on niching down. The only thing that I would say that we have kind of niched down in is really the things that we offer and, what we provide.
Sure.
Instead of trying to be all things to all people, we've slowly tried to, focus in on specific things like podcasting and video content. And, but again, right, as the CEO of the company, I'm always thinking of like, okay, how do we provide more value, or how do we provide more services in order to grow the bottom line and grow the company. So
right. And I think it's so important to niche down in what you do, but maybe not who you serve, because what you do is what really generates the results. So if you aren't like top notch at that, then you can't serve any clients well, much less a niche down audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Well, listen, this has been a little treasure trove. It's like a dense, packed episode full of just great wisdom and knowledge. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and sharing all your wisdom.
Thank you.
And I'll love to continue to follow you and just, see how things go. How often are you vision casting or planning out for the next, you've been around for 6 years now? 10 years. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. 2015. Yeah. Yeah. Samesies.
Love that. Yeah. It's a decade in.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you looking at? Are you doing the 3 to 5 year thing, or are you just doing like the quarterly thing?
We do quarterly, we do yearly. I would say in an agency life like ours, it's hard to go so far out as 5, but 3 for sure. Just kind of planning, what are we looking forward to? What are the growth goals that we have so that we can continuously work towards them?
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Well, hey, if people wanted to connect with you online, what's the best place to reach out?
Yeah, so our Instagram is where we're definitely most active. It's 90.5.media, all spelled out, NinentyFiveMedia. And our podcast, Stop Scrolling, Start Scaling, we post twice a week. If you're interested in our services, 95media.co is where you can find us. But yeah, we're pretty active everywhere.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I love to leave everybody with one action item for next week. So if someone listening wants to scale their brand using content but feels stuck, what's one small step they can take today that will help them starting next week?
I would say make a plan and be consistent. So if you can only really commit to posting 3 times a week, then figure out what those days are, put them on your calendar, batch create that content, and really stick with it, because that consistency is the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. And as an agency, right, we try to come alongside our clients and help them be consistent, because consistency over a long period of time produces results.
Absolutely. It's the only thing.
That's right. Well, hey, thank you so much. And thank you for tuning into The Friday Habit. If you go to thefridayhabit.com, you can find show notes for this episode. You can also find ways to get in touch and links to our websites. And at the bottom of the page, you can download our guide to the Friday Habit system that'll show you how to set aside one full day each week dedicated working on your business instead of always in your business. You can reach us at hello@thefridayhabit.com. And remember, until next time, live every day like it's Friday.